What's up, YouTube? My name is Jacob, and this is The Awesome Sauce, the only show where we're man enough to admit we cried. Again. I mean, like Dragon Ball Super though, guys. Like, seriously. Who wouldn't? So yes, YouTube, today, as you can tell, we're talking about Dragon Ball Super. We're talking about the end, my thoughts about the show, my thoughts about everything about Super, and I'm gonna give my opinion about the future of Dragon Ball and where I believe it should go at some point. So this is gonna be a spoiler alert. I don't know who hasn't seen Super yet, but if you haven't, spoilers. Okay, let's do this. So my overall opinion about Super is I thought it was an amazing series in the Dragon Ball universe. For them to continue it, right after Dragon Ball Z was amazing. I thought it was pretty cool that after a really, really long time of going without any Dragon Ball, they brought it back, and they brought it back in such a classy way. I thought the storytelling for the entire series was amazing. I mean, if you really break down most animes, most action fighting animes, it boils down to fights. Dragon Ball Super gave such good depth to the existing characters, and then good depth to new characters that were introduced. And I thought that was just an amazing thing to do with already developed characters coming from the late 80s, all the way up until now. And of course, with introducing new characters, I think, giving them the right amount of story and focus on their life is amazing, especially coming towards the Tournament of Power. But this isn't a review of the entire series. I'm talking about episode 131 and the future, so let's get to that. So in episode 131, of course, is the final episode of the Dragon Ball Super series for now, and I think it ended off in an epic way. I mean, in all reality, we could have predicted what would happen. I mean, because it's Dragon Ball. The good guys always win, and that's, I think, all general animes. But, I mean, with that in mind, I still think just the way it happened was amazing. Of course, there was a twist in episode 130 where you found out Frieza and Android 17 were still alive, which added into the epicness of 131. With Goku going down after losing the Mastered Ultra Instinct and still coming back to finish the fight, I think was amazing. I think what really threw people off and made it such an exciting fight is you saw Goku and Frieza teaming up for the first time ever. And that's like, they're mortal enemies. Even in the Tournament of Power, they were still, Goku was keeping Frieza in check from his evil ways and shit. And it was just wild for them to just team up and take down Jiren at the last minute. For you to see enemies come together and fight like that, I think really, that's solid storytelling. With Frieza being Goku's arch nemesis coming back 3 times now, I think it was really good. And then plus the history with the androids and Goku going to the Cell Saga or the Android Saga, for you to see such an epic team up, I think it was amazing. And then of course you have Goku and Frieza working together, fighting against Jiren, pushing him back. I think it was just an epic episode. It was a really good episode. And then of course when 17 got the wish from the Super Dragon Balls, once again it's cliche storytelling, but it was a really emotional and powerful thing to see, the good guys doing the good thing. And I mean, of course, they did say in the episode that if that didn't happen, everything would have been erased. So once again, it's always good storytelling, even though it's a cliche ending. And then of course you fast forward to the very end where, they skipped the intro. They didn't even give you the whole intro song. They just went straight into the meat of the episode. And I thought that was pretty cool. But then, they threw the intro song towards that outro, and that was amazing. I think the thing that really meant the most to Dragon Ball fans and Dragon Ball Z fans and Super fans was like the very end where you saw Goku and Vegeta fighting each other. And then, what made it epic, was the fact that the end scene when they're in the desert area, that's from the original fight with them in the beginning. You can't top that. I mean, I got goosebumps. I watched the episode like 4 times. Just that very end part just got me so hyped up. And then of course there was like the little Marvel ending where you saw Frieza coming back to rule his evil empire, and it was, it was pretty cool. But then coming back to the whole Goku and Vegeta fight scene at the very end, when they're in the fighting poses, I think that was a good stopping point, because 2 things could happen. They can continue Super, or they can continue Dragon Ball later on after the new movie comes out at the end of this year, or that was a beautiful place to end the Dragon Ball series. And that comes to the next part of this video. Where do I think Dragon Ball should go from here? When they decided to continue Dragon Ball into Dragon Ball Super, I was ecstatic. I lost my mind when they introduced Battle of Gods, you know, as a starting point. Even if it was just a movie at that time, when they brought that to the table, I was ecstatic because that was a sign that Dragon Ball was going to continue. They came out with Super shortly after Resurrection F. And I was amazed that Dragon Ball was going to continue. You know, being a kid to being an adult now, like, Dragon Ball doesn't change for me. You know, the fact that they brought it was a new series. I could experience an episode every week, you know, when, you know, I got Crunchyroll or I got whatever to watch the episode. To experience that every week was just mind-blowing again. And now, I don't know, they have the new movie coming out, and that's awesome too. Once again, coming back to my confliction and what I had said about how Super had ended in episode 131. Part of me wants to see Dragon Ball continue. I want to see Dragon Ball continue till it can't no more. I want to see what happens next. But at the same time, all good things have to come to an end. And that's the hard part about Dragon Ball Super, is when I said earlier that that was a beautiful place to end it, that was a beautiful place to let Dragon Ball stop. Part of me doesn't want it to stop. Part of me wants to continue watching it. Like I watch Super on my TV with my daughter, and you know, she's a baby. She doesn't really know. You know, I watched it as a kid, and then me and my kid are watching it. That's beautiful, but you also don't want to beat a dead horse. And I'm not saying Dragon Ball is a dead horse and Dragon Ball Super is a dead horse. It's not. And I mean, there's a huge bit of nostalgia to come from that. And you know, of course, you know, no one's gonna argue if you see new Dragon Ball, but at the same time, my personal opinion is, unless you can do really amazing storytelling like you did with Super, a continuation might just destroy the series and leave a bad taste in the mouth if it ends after whatever continues. As a Dragon Ball fan, I would love to see this continue. I would love to see, you know, children now grow up watching more Dragon Ball and more continuations of it. But at the same time, everything beautiful has to end. And that's where I'm at with Super. The way it ended was beautiful. And I would love to see new episodes. I really would. But there's the flip side of the coin to where that was such a perfect ending. If it didn't continue, as disappointed as I would be that there's no longer going to be new Dragon Ball episodes or whatever they continue on from, I would probably be okay if it stops, just because it was such an amazing ending. It's just a back and forth with me. But my honest opinion is it can go either way. It's a 50-50 on my opinion. 50% says, give me some more Dragon Ball. Let me continue to relive my childhood in my 20s and 30s. You know what I mean? And that's the honest truth. But then there's the other side of me that's like, dude, I don't want it to continue and then ruin it, and it stops off on a bad point. Like with Dragon Ball GT, like that's a non-canon universe, but because there was such a negative response to GT that left a lot of bad taste in people's mouths. Dragon Ball was my life as a kid. You know, I was that kid that at a playground at recess, I would run like Goku with my arms behind my back, or I would, you know, we'd play Dragon Ball Z and just start screaming and Kamehamehaing, and, you know, like I was that kid. Me and my friends were those kids. Because I love Dragon Ball so much, I'm okay with it ending if it does. But I don't know. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I really love the last episode though, man. Like, the fighting, like, the storytelling, everything about that was just, oh my God. And, you know, maybe because it was such an epic last episode, that's why I have my opinion. But I don't know, YouTube. I mean, let me know what you guys think. As always, you know, talk to me in the comments. Let me know on Twitter. Let me know on Instagreasy. Let's talk. And I will never say Instagreasy again. I don't know what the fuck that was. But yeah, YouTube, thanks for joining me today. I've since resolved my audio issue from the previous one. As you can see, I have I have a little recorder. I'm using a secondary recorder for my audio source. And I have since then learned how to use it. Thank you for YouTube. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. You know, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on the Facebook page. You know, even talk to me on Instagram. Like, give me your opinion. Do you think Dragon Ball should continue? Or do you think Dragon Ball should just leave it? And let episode 131 of Super be the last of it. You know, not counting the movie, but the movies are never really canon anyway, so. But let me know, guys, talk to me, say what's up, even drop a comment. Let me know what's good with you. As always, YouTube, thank you guys so much for being with me today. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. As always, like the video, share it with your friends, let them know the Awesome Sauce is here to party. Make sure you hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, I got the Facebook, everything's in the description. I'm still working on the new format and getting everything built for an intro and an outro. I haven't forgot. Thank you so much for being here with me today, YouTube, and as always, have a crisp one.